apologize profusely. This rude cough. I mean, this rude coffee. Okay. After this unbelievable funny joke, we will start learning the Likutei Moharan, to your tests. We're talking about, these are the hashmatos, the appendix, have to do with the Torah. Now, we said before that there's a big difference when you hear from the Rav, from the Tzaddik, then when you hear from somebody you heard from him, and because when you get it from the Rav himself, the Rav possesses Lashon Kodesh B'Shleimus perfectly. So you're receiving Shleimus Lashon Kodesh, a perfection Lashon Kodesh from the Rav. But when you're hearing from the Talmud, from the pupil, then it's already went down, lower madrega, lower. So then, לא מתבספר, לשון על פי החוכם, יש חילוק גדול ביוסף. ברוך אתה אדינו, אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל יהיה. Someone's learning the Sefer, it's something that is from the Chochem, there's a huge chiluk. Why? It says, in other words, not only from the Chochem, also from the Talmud. כי הספר רק לזיכרון. The Sefer is just for memory, perpetuity. The Zikaron. כמו שכוסר, הקדוש ברוך הוא עושה את משה רבינו, כסוף זה זיכרון בספר. Write down a Sefer that Amalek has to be wiped. In this, the Torah hints that learning in a Sefer is a bechina of memory. Remembering something resides in the Madama, which is the power, the ability to compare one thing to another, Koyach HaMadama is an iffy kind of thing. It's very impressionable. Kigama Behema Shlasikon. Behema also has memory. An animal that also has memory. Moshe Naroim. Shagam Mazocheret Shemakom Ze Nashcha Kelev Yiborachak Misham. And Behema remembers that the dog bit it at a certain place. It runs away from there. Passes this place. It runs away. So it does have a memory. Why? Because the Behema has Koyach HaMadama. In fact, all the Behema has is Koyach HaMadama. That's the only mental capacity, the only mental faculty that the Behema has is the Madama. And the same thing, the memory of a person is also an application of the Koyach HaMadama. It's an application of Seichel, application of the Koyach HaMadama. Now, we said before that Madama is Targum, right? It's not Lashon Kodesh. Targum means Tardema, right? Slumber, sleep. Because all the dreams that the person sees, it's for Koyach HaMadama. It's what you call, produced, directed, and acted by, the Madama company of Hollywood. That's this is the some seichel go in there, but it is therefore found that when a person learns from a sefer, it's only learning b'vchinas Targum. The sefer itself is Targum. Ketov zikaron b'sefer. The sefer is only b'chinas memory. It's not the live thing that has Shalom Kodesh in it. It's B'chinas Targum, B'chinas memory. It's not B'chinas Shalom Kodesh that you receive when you hear it from the Rav himself. That's why Chazal said, Dvarim shebe'al peh, things, the oral things, oral inyonim, iyata rashai la'omar b'chtav. You're not allowed to say them in ksav. That you're not. That's what it says. You're not allowed to write down Torah shebe'al peh. Only Torah sheb'chtav. Only later on the Torah shebe'al peh. There was a special dispensation. Because Taka, the Zikaron, went so down that they had to even write it. They had to use a B'chinas Zikaron of writing down. And the reason behind all this is that when things are written down, they're going down a notch. Now they're only Zikaron. It's only a memory, which is Koyach HaMedama, which belongs to the realm of the Medama. I apologize. This is Talmud. No, I apologize to them also. Maybe they're upset. What is it? What is wrong with him? Let him drink a cup of water. What's wrong with him? So I apologize.
It's a Medama.
It's a Medama. So, ויש דבורים בגוי. And this is the deep secrets in the Indian, the very, very deep mysteries in this Indian. Ki be'emes, Rabbeinu says, זה המיקרו, this particular pasuk, כסויב זו זיכרון בספר הנ"ל, that's what you said, write down on ספר for הזיכרון, נאמר על התורה שבכתב, שצריכים דווקא לכוספו. It's all written דווקא התורה שבכסף. התורה שבכסף is Shalom Kodesh. Why do you have to put it in בכסף, which is zikor, which is Madama, which is Targum? He said, writing down the Sefer Zikor is the Medam, and Dam is slumber, is Targum. So how can we say that write down the Zikor, the Sefer talks about the level of Zikor, which is Targum, when the pasuk is actually referring to Torah Shebeksav? And you have to understand, why on earth would you need to write Torah Shebeksav, which is Lashon Kodesh? Why do you have to write it down in Targum? Why do you put it down and not in Targum? While Torah Shebe'al Peh, which most of it is said in Aramaic, right? Which is B'chinas Targum, you're not allowed to write at all. But writing is Targum, writing is Zikaron. So why Zikaron? Why Lashon Kodesh you have to write down to put in Targum, but the Targum you can't put into Targum? As I said, there's very, very deep in Yonim in there. Very, very deep in Yonim. And the Rebbe did not explain it. But it says, "Kol ze shamati mipi v'kodesh ben shekatzavti f'anav haTorah." It says, all this I heard from his holy mouth when I wrote this Torah before him, and he did not explain this matter well. No, he didn't. The Paperos and the Iber Nachal wrote to try to explain it in a certain way. You remember that we said, we learned in Likutei Halachos that the Divrei Torah that comes from above has to be mitzdayer according to the Kalim. Now, Because when it comes from above, it comes raw. It comes without unpasteurized yet. It's not fermented yet. Remember? Okay. So the Torah Shebeksav, which is Lashon Kodesh, when it comes down from above, it's unformative. Because really, Sefer Torah, the Torah Shebeksav, that which we have in the Sefer Torah is already formatted into words. But really, the Torah itself is just one continuum of letters from the base of Bereshis to the Lamed of Kol Yisrael. It's one single line with no spaces. No spaces, no vowels, no tropen, just raw. It has to be formatted. You have to put it into a kelis and be able to read to understand what the Torah is saying. The way that the Torah is broken down into words, this is the Perish of Chazal. Moshe Rabbeinu brought it down, in such a way, and broken down to us. Otherwise, we'd have no idea what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. And this is similar to everything in this world. It was created, without the tikkun, that you have to rectify, you have to fix it. Like there's the kasha that the Romans ask of Akiva. Why does a person have to be circumcised? So as you say that the Kodesh Baruch Hu created a person, He created him perfect. Everything Hashem does is perfect. So what do you have to? You are spoiling the perfection of creation. Rabbi Akiva says, no. He says there is a certain kind of beings, certain kind of ligands called turmasin. Turmasin are unbelievably bitter. They have to be cooked 7 times. Each time you have to cook them, fully cook them, spill the water, put fresh water, 7 times. Then they become sweet, then they're very, very good. I says, everything in the world was created, it needs a tikkun, you need to cook it. A cow, you're going to eat a cow, it has to be shechted, everything needs a tikkun. A person needs a tikkun, the tikkun of the person is to be malad, So the main tikkun of the Torah Shebeksav that comes raw, unformatted misham, is dafka to write it b'sefer, to put it b'ksav, which is zikron, which is targum, which is tadenu. Why? Because we say all the time that what is the tikkun of Lashon Kodesh? When you rectify the targum, when you rectify that which is allowed. So the Torah Shebeksav has to go down to targum, because the perfection of Lashon Kodesh is dafka through Tardema, through targum. That's why Torah Shebeksav has to be written in Pchinas targum. But that's why we don't know any din, any halacha from Torah Shebeksav without Torah Shebal Peh. The Shlomus in Kodesh, because of Targum, Torah Shebal Peh is Targum. Torah Shebeksav is Shlomus in Kodesh, but you don't know anything about Kodesh unless you're working on the Targum. So that's why Torah Shebal Peh is the thing that makes sense of Torah Shebeksav. The perfection of Torah Shebeksav is through Torah Shebal Peh. Perfection of Lashon Kodesh is through Targum, through Tardema, through the Madam. Now, since everything the Chacham says is Torah Shebal Peh, it lacks the aspect of Lashon Kodesh. which Tosha Baal Peh in itself is Targum. So that's why you have to hear it dafka, from the Chacham. If you take Zikaron and you put it in Zikaron, it's like going down and down and down. Teresheveksav, which is, a divine Loshin Kodesh, you need to put in Targum. Because that's the Shlemus Loshin Kodesh. But Tosha Baal Peh, in itself, it starts out as Targum. The minute you put it down into Targum, Targum into Targum, Zikaron into Zikaron, you're going lower and lower. That's why you hear the Yadavka from the Tzaddik. Because besides the term of the Tzaddik, you're seeing the Tzaddik an extra bonus. The Shlemus Loshin Kodesh of the Tzaddik, he was Zeichet Shemiras Abris. So you need to hear Davka from the Tzaddik. But there's a special dispensation to write. But you should know that it's a very, very, very low. That's the Ibiyah Nachal. It's a beautiful parish. But if I ever said Dvorim Amokim, so Mishtama, it's way beyond that, but we can understand that. That we can understand. Okay. We said above, in Os Dalet, that the overriding bad, the overriding evil of the 70 nations, cannot feed off the Loshin Kodesh only through Targum. The interface is Targum. The interface is Tardema. The interface is Medan. That's the Klipas Noiva. That's the Etzadas Tovara. The only way that the bad can feed off the Kedusha is through this buffer zone. That's the mystery, Mashahu, Vaselis Ron Levocha. Adam Arishon, Moshech Be'olos Ha'oyel. Adam Arishon, B'lishon Aram is Sipe. It used to be, today we're looking at it and we sound like this is like really weird. But it already exists. But the Jews, in the time of the Greeks, the Romans, the Romans and the Greek, they had these public baths. Right? Now, in the public baths, you couldn't hide what you are. But there were all these misyavnim, all these fry people that really wanted to be accepted in the cherished Roman and Greek society as one of their own. What can you do? Your father chopped it off when you were 8 days old. So what they would do is they would pull whatever remnants were there to look as if they have foreskin. Moshech Be'olos Ha'oyel. That they said that Adam Arishon had an aspect of Moshech Be'olos Ha'oyel. And they also said Adam Arishon was talking Arabic. V'aven me'oid. And you should understand it at great depth. What are we actually saying here about Adam Arishon? V'aven me'oid. You have to understand it in great depth, because these two things, they are all alluding to the same Nakuda. Ki aridei lashon Aramis, it is through the language of Aramis, which is translation, middle ground. Shu lashon Targum, Noiga, Etzadas, Tardema, all those things. Moshcha v'yonka ola. This is where the klipa, the arla, was feeding off. Shuara koila. That's the overall bad, evil. This is how the overall evil was feeding off the Loshin Kodesh, the Bris Kodesh, Ayencha. This came about because Adam Rishon ate from Etzadas Tovara. He entered the Etzadas Tovara, which is Targum, which is a Ramish. This is how the serpent was able to, the Klippa was able to suck from that. So Moshe Ba'olasai, the Ola is the Klippa, was Moshe, was drawing, like making a withdrawal, like pulling from Adam Rishon. V'saper ba'aramis, aramis, when the Etzadas Tovara, when the minute he mixed that Etzadas Tovara, this enabled access to all kinds of viruses. Ki ikra pgam habris, the main pgam habris, shura koiler, which is the overriding evil. B'fchinas l'shonos ha'amim, that's the languages, the foreign languages of the nations. Yenikosam, they're feeding al yedei lashon targum. It's done through the interface of the language of translation, which is Aramish. Shehu b'chinas noiga, that's the aspect of noiga that I said before. So they say, this is how they raise up to feed off the Lashon Kodesh, Mibus Kodesh. I said before, this is they're both one thing. The main balance, v'anisoyim, v'abechira, and the test and the choice, b'fchinas noiga, is in the level of noiga. Elevate to kedusha, go down swinging. Shu b'chinas targum, this is targum. Ki noiga nikro takol, the noiga is called takol, which is Mishka, which is weights. Because in all the things which are dvarashus, which is heter, which is allowed in this world, is klipas noiga, is mixed up with good and bad. When a person has a test in his soil to use it for good, to do it l'shem shamayim, and then it will elevate it to the kedusha, or chas v'shalom to use it for bad. This allows the overriding bad, to take from his own Lashon Kodesh. This is what he said. Adam Rishon, Moshe Ba'olasa, Adam Rishon b'lashon hara mesipra. Adam Rishon was pulled, with his foreskin. Adam Rishon was talking Lashon Targum. Ki ha b'hatale, because one thing depends on the other. Ki ikya pgam habris, the main defect of the covenant, which is represented with the sentence of Moshe Ba'olasai, this comes through Lashon Ramish, Lashon Targum. When you don't elevate it to Lashon Kodesh, you end up in not so good places. Ad kan Likutei Moharan for today.